All right, and we are back and heading on over to the Tribal Council area for yet another Tribal Council and vote out. You can see the players behind me that are heading in this direction as well. And in the distance, you can hear the drum beats provided by Declan. All right. Let's go ahead and flip ourselves around so we can watch as the players file into the Tribal Council area. And we have Ale, Ty, Louie, Alicia, Meg M, Zoe, Molly, Drew, Kevin R, Dylan, and Cam.
All right, let's bring in our jury.
Players now settling into Tribal Council as the jury moseys on over to the Tribal Council area.
All right, we have Katie and Dan voted out at our last Tribal Council. All right, Dylan, speaking of the jury over there, how are you changing your approach to this now that it's not just who you're voting out, but how? Because they're going to be on the jury and ultimately voting for a winner here.
That's interesting. I don't know that I'm necessarily changing. Sorry, like jury management has not been a thing that is even like on my mind, if I'm being honest.
Okay. It's just about surviving the vote?
Yeah, I think it's about surviving the vote, and I think it's also about like we've been in a streak of unanimous, or largely unanimous, which makes it kind of hard to tell sometimes where you stand. And so I'm putting more energy into figuring out where I'm at than like where the jury is at or the person that I'm voting out is. It's like that's like my brain doesn't really operate that way.
Okay. Yeah. It's priorities involved. Yeah, I mean, talk about that. There have been two really large votes. How do you kind of determine where in that large group you might fall in that pecking order?
That's a great question. The answer is you don't really know until the names start flying out. And I feel like this round in particular has felt the most chaotic because it has been so largely unanimous that finding the lines feels like you have blindfolds on. So it's hard to manage. It's tricky.
Yeah. Speaking of finding the lines, I mean, Cameron, there's been multiple different divisions. We've talked about it at these tribal councils, the original division of vets, the 4 phase, and then the 3 tribe phase. Which of those 3 would you think is most defining who's voting together?
I feel like you basically just asked me who's working with who. So I'll just give you a vague answer that is like, you make bonds at all stages of this game, and I guess what I said previously, you have to keep flexible and keep an open mind, but there's a big benefit of being trustworthy and loyal. I guess speaking of jury management, if you snake someone that you've been working with, that can be a really bad look.
Okay, interesting. Meg, do you feel like people were treating you differently coming in this, quote unquote chaotic round, knowing you had the necklace?
No, I was sort of looking forward to having information come
Your
to
queen
me.
moment, right?
Yeah, and I felt like I had to find out what was going on.
Okay, so you felt like you were playing catch up.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say the word catch up, but yeah, just like I felt like I I didn't know what was happening, and I needed to check and double check and be told a couple different times what was going on. It wasn't like people were eager to tell me what was going on.
Right. Interesting. Kevin, you joined Meg in that championship round. We're just a few pieces away from putting, the finishing touches, winning that necklace. Do you feel like that is going to be the difference between you staying in this game or not?
I hope not. You can never fully tell where that's going to swing, where that's going to go. I mean, I'm just hoping in my gut that that's not the case, but from what I heard names thrown out and they weren't mine, but this is a conniving bunch, so who knows if it didn't get back to me. I don't know.
Okay, interesting. Five. So we talk about the unanimous fifth of these votes, and unfortunately, you were on the bad side of not being unanimous last time, catching a couple stray votes. How did you kind of approach this round? Are you worried that you're potentially a better plan last time? You're not going to play this time?
Yes, obviously that's a big concern. Once a name is out there and written down, it is so much easier for that to snowball and just like pick up momentum and say, well, let's just do that then because it's already been written. So, but no, my approach was just to tell everyone that obviously there's no hard feelings. Like this is a game where we're here playing, we're doing this. We're all going to get votes at some point in one way or another. So, there's no hard feelings. If someone came to me and were to tell me that they did it, I would be able to move past it and work together as long as that authentic relationship is still there. I've been approached with ideas of what might have happened, but I don't know definitively what happened or who exactly it was. I have suspicion, but I don't know anything officially. Yeah, not at all.
Interesting. Okay. Alicia, yeah, on that, the first couple votes have been close to or unanimous. I mean, do you truly feel like it has been a group decision, or is it more that a group of 2, 3, or 4 are making the decision and everyone else is kind of jumping on board?
I think that's mostly what it is. I don't know. Coming back, I just want to play hard and help people make moves and make things happen. And it's just been a lot of easier votes. But I will say at the reward, I found a clue in one of the cups, and it was a clue to another idol, my friend that I got separated from. And she's an oar. So I'm just letting you know that this little honey is matching that, and I'm just gonna play it because I want to last another round. So when you ask for it, it's coming to you, boss.
Okay, thank you. Wow, that's a bombshell. Shaking up the questions I had pre-prepared. Molly, any big reaction to that news?
There was an idea. I mean, she definitely had one getting out of the game, so she's a good finder. She's a good finder, so amazing.
I missed her.
Okay. Ollie, does that change any of your plans heading into the voting booth here?
Yeah. I'm not gonna bullshit it. Yeah. I mean, we had probably the most insincere conversation that we've had.
I know.
We both knew we were bullshitting each other.
Out there, so I'm just I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, no, I think it's we had a conversation. I think Alicia and I have been really straight shooters, and I think this time that we sat down, we both could tell that each other were just not being honest, and I appreciate that about the kind of relationship that we have. I think we are really good at reading each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, there's whispers going on, so yeah, I probably sat in the wrong spot right now to whisper people. It's
Yeah, there's a lot of whispers going on.
I mean, do what you need. I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do. So y'all can do what you want.
True. I mean, this can go. You can potentially call her bluff, or I don't even know.
I mean, we're battling paranoia this entire time, and I feel like it's also an idol before the vote, so you can't just take that at face value. Big, you literally never know. So you have to shove down your paranoia. It's the plan, and it works out. So yeah, people are gonna whisper and get paranoid, but
That's what I do.
Zoe, I see you itching to get into some of these whispers, but no one seems to be turning your direction. Is that a sign of where you stand with some of these people?
It's no surprise my name has come up pretty much every tribal, so I would not be surprised if I see a handful, with my name. And we're allowed to talk, right?
You can do what you want. I'll put a stop to it.
Okay.
Oh man, where are we going live?
I'm not gonna let it go on too long. You better get something going.
What?
I said, are we going live?
Oh.
What? No. Are we live?
Oh, we live live.
No. Not breaking the third wall.
Hey, Kevin, what is your thoughts on all this?
I'm doing my job, so that's my thought right there.
I just heard my name from so trust anyone. That's all.
You claimed you had or I think Ale admitted, an instance conversation. Is that something that's really obvious to tell out here when someone is just kind of giving you?
It's not obvious at all. It was obvious with Ale because I feel like we're pretty similar actually, but for some of the people here, it was not very obvious, and so that's why I'm just playing it because I don't know who is lying to me and who's not. And so I'm just wanting to throw it out there, I thought I had some really sincere conversations with people that I had now heard are voting my name and obviously talking. So you can never know. You never really know who you can trust.
Okay. Anyone have anything to say to the group? I'm going to stop this whispering in a few seconds. Dylan? Oh, it's getting live now.
It's really live.
Like even now, sitting there with the necklace and no one's coming to you.
Wonder do they think I'm gonna vote? I do have a vote.
Everyone here has an equal say in this. Okay, Hudson Chief, please. I think we've had enough discussion. Unless anyone has anything they want to say publicly to the group, I think we're going to get ready to vote. All right. Let's get to the vote. We'll start with you, Kevin.
All right, and away we go from the tribal council area. Sorry about that choppy signal. Looks like our Wi-Fi went out momentarily, but I think it should be back now. Someone ran to check on it. All right, so away we head. Hopefully the wind dies down a little too. Sorry about that. I was trying to cup this as best I could to block y'all from the wind, but nature be naturing out here, so sometimes I am powerless against it, as we saw yesterday with the rainy dramatic tribal council. We're just gonna head up to our favorite little shrub bush thing that provides me shade, so I can provide you a tea. Okay, my notebook is out, and I'm gonna let y'all know now, this round is all over the place. And I tried to make sense of it as best I could. So if it makes no sense, that's because it makes no sense. Or I did a bad job. Entirely possible. Okay. And I know it's windy right now. Hopefully that will not interfere with at least us right here. Okay. Let's see. We're down. Okay. Wi-Fi is back. I know we're kind of cutting in and out. Sorry about that. Literally no cell signal out here, and we're connected to the Wi-Fi. Anyway, all right. So common themes for this round. We had two we had one burning question at the end of last tribal, and that was who voted Ty? If you'll remember from last tribal council, Ty had 2 votes that were thrown on him, and he and many of the others were very curious. There was a conspiracy theory thrown around by Molly that she thinks someone is trying to frame her and Dylan as the two voters of Ty because they're a known duo and they vote together. And so she thinks someone is trying to like emphasize like, hey, two people voted Ty. Wonder who could be. Maybe the two obvious people that are working together. But they did not. They are innocent in the Ty vote inquest because, in fact, Ty was voted for by Meg and Zoe. So the fun thing about Survivor is that it is ever changing. It can always be live, as we saw at that tribal council where there was a plan and suddenly maybe there was another plan now enacted. So ever evolving. And in the line at last tribal, right before they went in, apparently Alicia was talking to Zoe near Meg and Ale and saying that, Zoe was really concerned. She keeps seeing her name. She didn't want to get idled out. Alicia knew that her name was on the block, didn't want to get idled out again. Like she got idled out day 2. And so she basically told Meg and Zoe, hey, just in case the vote piles on Dan and Dan plays an idol, which everyone was suspicious he had something, you don't want to go out the way I went out. I don't want to go out the way that I went out before. So throw a few votes on someone else and let him leave so that we can stay in. So Meg and Zoe were actually the 2 votes, and Alicia swore she would not tell anyone who did that and has not told anyone. So Zoe and Meg, however, Meg kept up that ruse that she didn't know who voted, was approached by Cam, who's in kind of her little group of Meg, Zoe, Ale, and Cam, and said that, oh, she has no idea. Well, Zoe, queen of the tea in this game, apparently immediately told Cam that it was her and Meg. So Meg is now stressed that she was kind of caught in a lie that Zoe immediately outed. Zoe also told Drew that she and Meg voted for Ty, and Drew had a big problem with this because Ty is her number 1 in this game. So yeah, so now Drew kind of felt like, hey, that was an attack on me because you attacked my number 1 and did not take that too kindly. And in this vote, Drew has a big decision to make because she still finds herself in the middle of several different groups. And she has not had to really draw a line in the sand yet because, the votes have been unanimous so far. So this is kind of the vote where Drew's now realizing, like, I got to pick a side. Who am I going to go with? I have lots of allies. I'm going to have to make a decision. Do I go with Ty, my number 1, and the rookies and try to make that a group and target Zoe because her name is out there. She's a vet and not a rookie. The rookies don't want anyone like other rookies to go home. They want a vet to go home because they are super down in numbers. And because Drew feels betrayed by Zoe with that Ty vote, or does she continue on with this group on the other side of Meg, Zoe, Ale, and Cam and vote for Alicia? Obviously, Alicia has proven to be a big player, a big challenge threat, and that group is kind of aiming their sights on Alicia as a result, although they are concerned that she has something, and she pulled out an idol at Tribal Council. Now, what they do not know is that, or maybe they are suspicious of, because you voiced it, is that is actually the idol that Alicia was voted out with, and she is acting like she found another one. While she did find an advantage at the Applebee's Bistro, it was a surveillance advantage and not an idol. So TBD on if players are now going to vote differently or just still pile on Alicia, but with a backup vote of someone else in case it is a real idol. So that's going to be dramatic. Speaking of Alicia, she claimed that she has no one to work with. However, her and Louie are super tight and number 1s with each other. Reminder that Louie saw Alicia get that advantage and knows about it. Let's see. Alicia also has a duo with Cam. Feels like it's fake and that Cam actually wants to turn on her. So a lot of paranoia playing out in this game. So back to like Alicia and Louie, the number 1s. Because Zoe and that group is targeting Alicia, Louis has decided that he wants to target Zoe and get her out at all costs to save his number one ally, Alicia. Let's see, who else? What else is going on? Yeah, so that's on the vet side. Oh, the other kind of overarching theme before going into this tribal council was that New Quaddy and New Grindel wanted to go ahead and target one of the new Netiq players in Ty, Louis, Drew, Zoe, or and like kind of Alicia lumped in there. So yeah, so that is potentially where this Zoe vote is coming in. Let me look at my group. Okay, so on the rookie side, sorry, I know this is like literally all over the place. I'm trying my best. Okay, we care about that? Do we not? Okay, so one person we haven't talked about yet is Kevin R. in all of this. A reminder, he's in the Gay Latinos Alliance, but didn't really know in the last few rounds if it was legit or not. He is now feeling much more settled in because Kevin made a final 2 with Dylan, has voiced that 2 of the 4 members of the Gay Latino Alliance, along with Ale and Louis. Sorry, I'm fading off because I forgotten it's on another page, but we don't have time to flip the page. So Kevin made a formal final 2 with Dylan. However, he actually wants his final 2 to be Drew because he feels like she is his ride or die. Reminder, Kevin also has the extra vote from the fundraising advantage, so he can cast an extra vote today, although he did say that he wants to save it for when there is an even number of people at Tribal Council. Right now there are 11 people in Autumn, so he's trying to save it for a potential tie situation, although he is planning, if he plays it, to lie and say that he found it and not that it's the fundraising advantage. What else do we have here of note? If y'all have any questions, fire them off. I most certainly had about 38 million questions to my tea time contributors as I was gathering all of this. Let's see. Let's go to Cam. Cam is feeling too secure in this game, feels like everyone wants to work with him. It's a great place to be, and it's really funny that so many people have voiced such concern about being like, oh my god, I'm too safe, I'm too insulated, which is interesting. Oh, and one person we haven't, have we talked about him a lot? Oh yeah, we talked about Ty. So obviously Ty also curious who voted for him and is super tight with Drew. I think also potentially working with Louis. And back to Cam, sorry. So Cam feeling super secure. Reminder, Cam has the Meg, Zoe, Ale, and Cam situation, although he just saw that Meg lied to him and Zoe told him the truth. Cam also, Dylan and Molly want to work with Cam and feel really good about Cam as kind of like a third option to be pulled in along with their little original quaddy group of Ale and Meg. So as you can see, there's several like lines, colors, squiggles, like it's a mess. This tribe is wild. Yeah, I'm interested to see who's gonna get the votes because it seems like it is between Zoe and Alicia, but I really don't know if that fake idol announcement by Alicia is going to change things or not. So all of this could be completely irrelevant and some random person could be going home as a result of that live tribal we saw. So if you're, so we might be hashtag survivor blindsided instead of play. So that's always fun when that happens because this game is ever evolving, ever changing, and it's always dramatic and exciting to find out what happens. If you're nosy like me, you always want to know what's going to happen. So, all right, we are heading back on to the Tribal Council area, and we will not have to wait much longer to find out who will become the 3rd member of our jury and join Katie and Dan on the jury bench. background is a blower, so I am sorry for that if it affects the audio in any major way. Okay. And heading back into the tribal council area, our players can silently wait for the votes to return. And here, waiting for Cam to get back the votes are Zoe, Cam, Drew, R, Molly, Dylan, Meg M, Alicia, Louie, Ty, and Ale. Jurors Katie and Dan only silently observe tribal council and take in everything they're hearing. We toured the podium, so here is a piece of a sword that I suspect was once whole and maybe made it past here. So unfortunate. And here is our torch snuffer. That is very creepy and cool in I would argue. This year, our torches have the players and names on them, which is why you kind of see some of them scrambling around and looking for their specific torch to be snuffed. And over here, we have our volunteers and some former players that are looking on as part of our little live audience. All right, I can stop saying things randomly to fill the time because Cam is back in the tribal council area.
Just wanted to keep the suspense going. All right. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so. Alicia, stay up here. I need to talk to you. Alicia has played a Tides idol. Matches the symbol on my board. Unfortunately, this idol has no power.
I scared you.
Okay, I'll get to the
I was
vote.
voted out with that one. They didn't take it away.
First vote. Tie. Second vote. Alicia. Third vote. Alicia. Fourth vote. Alicia.
So close on that one.
Fifth vote. Alicia. That's 4 votes Alicia, 1 vote tie. Next vote. Zoe. 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 That's 4 votes Zoe, 4 votes Alicia, 1 vote tie, 2 votes remaining. Next vote. Zoe. Next member of our jury, Zoe. That's enough. Zoe, the tribe has spoken.
Cancel area, and we are still live. So we were gonna head up along that tree line and maybe try and find you some shade. And once you're all kind of comfy and set up and ready, this will be your time to just share any thoughts you have with the viewers and anything you want to say. So we'll just attempt to find some shade here. Maybe back in that little thicket might be like a nice spot for you to settle in. And we'll wait for the rest of the players still in the game to leave the area so that you have your time. You're welcome to drop your stuff if you would like to not carry 5 things at once. I know I would not.
Declan.
All right, just a few moments away from hearing from Zoe here. All right, Zoe, this is your time. Anything you want to share? Any thoughts you have right now?
I just wish the players good luck and I hope they have fun. Some players a little more luck than others. But yeah, I really had a fun experience and I had suspicions I was going to be voted out this round. So it's not too much of a surprise, but I'm a little disappointed, but I had a lot of fun.
Good. I'm so glad to hear it. I mean, you got to experience tons of the game, made it super deep into day 4. You've made the jury. So lots of things to be proud of about your time out here. I'd love to know maybe something you're most proud of about yourself in this game.
Ooh. I'm definitely proud of making merge because when I played the first time, I did not make merge. So that was definitely a goal that I definitely made. So
awesome.
Yeah.
We love achieving goal that we've set. That's fabulous. And I know a lot of players report learning things about themselves in their time out here when maybe they're putting themselves out of their comfort zone. Is there anything you've learned about yourself that you didn't know before?
Well, I wasn't quite sure how I do because I haven't played an outdoor game Survivor before, but I think I did decently well, especially for my first round of Survivor outdoors, not just in college in person. Yeah, so I realized I can cook rice on a fire. I can withstand like being drenched in the rain. And I tried hard in the challenges. Unfortunately, I didn't get a personal immunity, but I helped get Tribe's immunity, so I'm glad.
You absolutely did. All right, Zoe, before I let you head off to Ponderosa, you are playing for a worthy cause. So this is your chance to shout them out and let the viewers know who you're playing for.
I'm playing for Feeding America.
Amazing. All right, Zoe, thank you so much. I'm going to hand you off to Barry, who will get you assigned to Ponderosa, and congratulations on a game well played.
Thank you.
Great job, Zoe.
Thank you.
You go out there. Good job, Zoe.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello, and thanks for staying tuned in. We are going to go ahead and set up the next individual immunity challenge, and we should be back live in, I'm going to guess 15 minutes. So I think 15 minutes will be the goal. So we will see you back here in 15 minutes as the game goes on. I'm getting really bad at sign-offs. I'm like, so, yikes. Anyway, all right, see you in 15.